everyone. I wanted to make another short impromptu video for anyone who might watch my channel in the next year or 2 years. And I wanted to say that, I wanted to talk about two different ideas. One idea is fearlessness, and the other is obsession. I guess they can intermingle, but I don't have a plan for how that will happen in this short video. But I've been told in my life that I'm fearless, and by several people in different arenas. I was like that as a kid, and like that with medical treatments as well. I don't have cancer, I have alopecia, but I went through years of painful medical injections and creams and acid treatments on my head, and now I'm doing a new treatment called the JAK inhibitor. It's very new. I did try a different one 10 years ago and nothing worked. So anyway, this one's new and it came out the last couple years. So I'm linking it to my medical history, because a lot of trying these treatments for me has been getting over the fear of what bad thing will happen to me if I try this. So I had to learn to be fearless because I started those treatments when I was 12 years old. I was very young, and now I'm 38. And I want to say that that carried on in other sectors of my life. Like, I was unafraid to leave, or eventually became fearless enough to leave bad relationships or abusive environments, or to go forward without a plan, or to jump fearlessly into a plan not knowing what would happen. For example, I moved to New York City without any plan or job when I was 23, and just had a roommate and found a job within the next week. Anyway, that's just kind of how I roll. It hasn't always worked out, but my advice for being fearless is to understand fear. And that may sound counterintuitive, but to be intuitive in general is a great skill for knowing when you're in danger, which involves tuning into what's going on around you, which is a fine dance, because you don't want your nervous system to be overly stimulated or understimulated. You have to figure out how to have it sit nice and steady in the middle, Goldilocks style, so you can pick up on stuff and also not be overwhelmed by it. But once you understand fear and the feeling of visceral fear, then you know what choices you have to make in your life. So it's actually really good to feel fear. And then you can be fearless, because you can say, okay, there's a great book called Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway, which I've read before and I recommend. And it's like, okay, well, yeah, I'm scared. I don't know what's going to happen here, but I can't stay here in this situation. I can't stay stuck in this energy, or whatever the situation or circumstance is. I don't know why, but I want to talk about, I think this is true. I think it's Rihanna. It could also be, I really hope that it's Rihanna. I think it's Rihanna. She had this, she was in an abusive relationship, and she was working as a stripper and was living with her abuser and his mom, and just had to make it work until she could get out of that situation. And then obviously became a huge, maybe it was actually, I'm sorry, I think it was Cardi B, because it was someone who's more, Cardi B is a little bit more intense in her energy. I think it was her. Sorry, Rihanna is, I don't, she's more of a pop star, and so I'm reminded by the rap of Cardi B that this is actually her story. I'm sorry, I hate that I switched them out. They're so different, but they are similar in some ways also, with their style and stuff. But Cardi B had a really tough situation, and then she obviously flipped that on its head and is in a much better life situation now. But she stayed until she couldn't stay any longer, and she made leverage of it. She made it work until it was like absolutely time to go. And I feel like that's the energy of some people watching this situation. So it's like, that's sort of the energy for the week too. Just like, maybe I'll start doing like weekly energy things or something. That like, you need to just like be fearless, and that doesn't have to do with not tuning into the feelings of fear. It's like, and also, it's not like you're gonna make stupid choices. It's like the fear is gonna guide you. The fear is like, oh no, I really don't want that to happen, right? So then you say, okay, what choice can I make so that I hope that doesn't happen? So that maybe doesn't happen. And usually that will require another choice that requires you facing another fear. So then you have to say, oh, well, if I really address this, I'm going to have to do this or that. That puts me in a different place. And I don't know what will happen after that. I also want to talk about obsession. And I guess it links because people, here's what I'm linking it, is that people can become obsessed with the perfect plan or the perfect moment to do something or the perfect time. And ain't no time like the present is what I want to say. But often there are situations where it just will become clear as time goes on what we must do. Like, we must act, we must make some change, some vital change. Sometimes it gets to the point where it has to be done immediately because you've waited upon it. And so obsession can be like, oh no, like I have to wait till this circumstance happens or this lines up, and it's like, that can be really analysis paralysis, is what my grandmother used to say. But obsession can be great because if you can step back from it and look at what you're obsessing on. Sometimes people who have obsessive tendencies may fixate on a situation or a person or something from the past. And if you can step back and be like, oh, I'm obsessing, you can realize that you actually have just this like intense energy that needs to be played out somewhere and fixated and focused on. And I'm not saying that that's bad, because I think a lot of times we work out really painful things through obsession. You have to like look at it from all angles to really get it through your system and let it go. But obsession can also lead us to just like good things, because sometimes we can be obsessed with like something positive, and I think in terms of being obsessed with fear, which is the other way to look at it, like maybe you're obsessed with some anxious thought and it's keeping you awake. I'll be like a Nine of Swords energy. Sorry, I have to give my dog some water. It's like you learn as time goes on, I guess, and as you age, that your thoughts, it's not like you can really control them, but you can become the witness, which is what they say in Buddhism. So yeah, I offer that to you with fear and fearlessness, and also with obsession, and also how those intermingle. Can you step back and look at like how you may be obsessing, and how, yes, that obsession is relevant and real, but is there a way that like it is a passing obsession possibly, that you may be like playing something else out that's from another sector of your life through this obsession, or maybe something from the past, or maybe some, I don't know. But I will also say, this too shall pass is something that I heard a lot growing up. So it may seem like whatever you're obsessed with or you're fearful of won't ever go away, but this too shall pass, my friend, and I'm with you, and I wish you all the best.